Well, hello shopkeepers out there, do-it-yourselfers. Today we're working on a 2005 Cadillac Deville. That's a little different than the Deville. It's getting hot, and the water pump belt is junk. Probably the pulley too. So there's a couple of nuts got to take off, one bolt. Yeah, see, a nut there and a nut there, two 10mm head nuts, and then there's one 10mm bolt right there on the back side of the bracket that we got to take off so we can get that cover off. I'm going to use a flex socket so I can get in there underneath that fuel line. I believe that's a fuel return line, or nah, I think that's actually a coolant line. Whatever. Here's the fuel lines there. They're metal, that's plastic. There's the 3 pieces of hardware you have to remove to get that cover off. No big deal. There you can see the carnage. The problem is the bearing went bad in the tensioner pulley down here. Try to get my daggone flashlight out of my hand. Right here. It's plastic. The pulley is plastic, so it melted, chewed up the belt. So we'll get this off of here. We got to take the tensioner assembly off, and to do that we got to take that bolt and that bolt out right there. It's just those two, I believe, and that tensioner assembly comes out. These are the 2 retainer studs that hold the tensioner assembly on. These go through the water pump housing right there, that aluminum housing. Let's set them up there out of the way. So and here's the old tensioner assembly. The bolts thread into here. The threaded portion is actually secured to, it's like a nut welded on it, but it's not really a nut. Anyway, you can get just the pulley, but they had to order it, and it was going to be the next day before I could get it, and so we're just going to replace this whole assembly. With a new one, and it goes on there just like that. Well, we'll get this old belt out of there, and down in there, that pulley down there is your water pump. We got to kind of wiggle that belt to get it around the pump, because the pump is in this housing here. We got to pull the belt on that side of the pulley and go around it so we can get it up out of there and get the new one down in there. And before I do, I'm going to start it up and let this cam pulley spin. I'll check and make sure that there's no belt gunk or damage to this pulley. Now we can see that there's no damage there and there's nothing stuck in there. And you do want to check and make sure, because there's a lot of this belt that's gone. And these were, you can see that was wrapped around the water pump pulley, and this was between the water pump pulley and the backing plate, wedged in there, and that pulley wouldn't turn very well with all that garbage in there. So you want to make sure you get all your belt fragments out so you don't wind up having a problem with your water pump. And when you get it all out of there, make sure that you can spin your pump, and I can. And you can tell that tensioner assembly was a male, because there's one of the balls. Anyway, all of the gunk is out of the way. We've checked the pulley to make sure it's good. We've checked to make sure that the water pump is good. Now we'll get the new belt down in there and get it set in place with the tensioner. Now you got to set your belt down in there and get you something to go down in there and poke push that belt on the other side of the water pump pulley. You got to get past that plug on the back of the head. There it goes. There's down in there. Then maneuver your tensioner into place, and I started the stud bolt back here in the back. Get the other one and pull your, you can see I've already got the belt wrapped around the tensioner pulley. We'll go ahead and get that back bolt put in. Now, I made an error. I thought that the belt went around the pulley and up over this and that pushed over, but it didn't. It don't. It goes all the way around the whole tensioner assembly, so I had to take it back off and put the belt around it. But I've got it on the water pump pulley all the way down there, and I've got it pushed up on the cam gear as much as I can. I'll take a 13mm wrench on that tensioner nut and rock it over as you're looking at it clockwise and release the tension so I can get the belt on the cam gear. Now you can see I'm pushing that way, so that's how that is done. And then we'll start it up and let it run, and we'll monitor and make sure that that belt's riding okay. And there you have it. Just make sure you get those two bolts down here tight. Don't cram them down with a 1/2 inch impact, but I don't know, somewhere around 15 or 20 inch-pounds, I suppose. But German torque specs, good and tight. Then we'll get this cover put back on there. I'll shut it off before I put it on so we don't drag on the pulley. Go in this way and then go down, and the one bolt and the two nuts, and it's a job well done. Thank you for watching. Share, like, and subscribe.